Hi everyone, welcome back to Spiritual Growth Tarot. I'm Denise and this reading is for Tuesday, November 24th. So, as always, tapping into the cosmic intelligence, universal cosmic intelligence. What is it that we need to know for this day in order to grow, in order to heal our souls? Okay. So we have the Four of Pentacles reversed, the Ace of Cups reversed. Now this is the theme as far as the message goes. And the Death Rebirth card, straight up. Okay, so with the Four of Pentacles reversed, okay, that has us in the realm of needing to shore up our healthy boundaries. To not give our power away to those people or those the media, the messages that are out there that are not coming from, the wisdom of the heart, if they're not coming from a heart-centered place. Now, sometimes to be heart-centered, we're in the realm of telling the truth. Because there really is no difference between love and truth. So keep that in mind. So if you're watching, a video, or you're watching the news, or you're listening to somebody speaking, and you get this weird little feeling that either they're not telling the whole truth, or they're twisting the truth up, or it's just an outright lie, trust your heart. The Ace of Cups reverse has the message of, trusting your heart, really trusting your heart. And in your heart chakra, you have, there's the electromagnetic force field in the heart is huge. It's huge. That's why it's the bridge to the upper chakras. So now tune into that a little bit, because the message here really is just, it's very simple about shoring up our healthy boundaries. But with the Ace of Cups, you can see in this visual here how the energy radiates out. And when we are aligned in the heart, when our heart chakra is open, when our heart center is open, it's the bridge between the communication channel, the fifth chakra, where we have our either integrity or not, excuse me, either we are telling the truth or not, either we are looking for the truth or not, whether we're hiding and we're defending or not. So to the degree that this chakra can be open and free and help us communicate our real needs, communicate our thoughts and desires, and whatever messages that need to come through, whether or not that chakra is connected to the heart means everything. Because if the heart center is not open, then what's happening is that, we have, with the seven chakras, they're structured and unstructured. Okay, so the first, third, fifth, and seventh are very structured, and then the second, fourth, sixth are unstructured, which means there's more of like a flow to it. They need the boundary of the structure. So of course, with the first chakra connecting us to our survival issues and our groundedness and our being on earth, and we are literally magnetizing, we're literally bringing in and releasing spirit with every breath, if that's our intention, and if we're working, in the light, which is love, right? Okay, so basically, if the first chakra is strong, then we'll have healthy self-esteem, which would be in the third chakra. And then if we have that, of course, we can't get to the healthy place where we're telling the truth all the time in the fifth chakra unless that heart center is open, unless there's a flow. So with the second, fourth, and the sixth, it's like giving and receiving. In the second chakra, it's, recharging and releasing. We rest and then we get up and walk around. Of course, it's our sexual center. It's a very creative center as well. Doesn't matter what gender you are. There are, creative eggs in that second chakra, right? And it doesn't matter if you're not releasing eggs anymore. It's still your creative center. Now, when it comes to the heart chakra, to get to the heart chakra, you have to work on the self-esteem issues. And to have the heart chakra flowing, or to have the third chakra healed, down here, the heart chakra also has to open up, and then it works from both ends, and it works beautifully. So it's a process of always just trying to keep everything open. But you can't force it. It's an organic process. You can't just say, okay, I open my second chakra, or okay, I open my heart chakra. It doesn't work like that, but you certainly can intend. And the magnetic resonance in the heart chakra is so strong and so powerful that it really can help open up all the other centers. And then, of course, up here in the sixth chakra, we have our intuition, and the seventh chakra is, the spiritual universal essence that we are in, that we can take for granted. Just like the way our heart beats and we don't have to tell it to, right? Okay, so the importance of opening the heart chakra is just, I can't begin to speak to how important that is. Now, when it's reversed, we have to look at why we might be repressing. What is it that's going on in the heart that keeps us from, feeling safe enough to open up? It can be sometimes, it's always some pain from the past. It can be sometimes just feeling really empty. It can sometimes be some bad news that's come in, and you're in that place of like, oh no, not again. I'm speaking to more of the Ace of Cups reversal meaning here. But when it comes to repressing our emotions or not wanting to open up, it's really, really important to know that the past was a past, and that does not mean it's going to happen again. And there is so much change that happens every day if you open to it and you allow it. And if we're in the area of having healthy, strong boundaries, we don't need to close our hearts down. The lack of healthy boundaries comes because we're still engaged in some type. Well, when we're children, we need to have that symbiotic relationship with our parents because that's the only way we survive. But as adults, we need to little by little take our power back. And if you had good parents, they encouraged your independence as you were coming into your teenage years. And actually, maybe even from 4 or 5 years on, they maybe would ask you, okay, well, what do you think? And they would encourage your choice, your ability to exercise your free will, and get you to think, thinking about consequences, about choices and consequences in your life. But parents aren't perfect. And those of us who are older had probably more, imperfect parents than the newer generation growing up, but not always at all. But it's, we're evolving. Humanity is evolving always. So it's us older generation that has had to go through a lot of, deciding not to repress our emotions anymore and deciding that we really want to open our hearts. And that means we have to work through all the pain from the past. And then, as we do that, we have stronger and stronger boundaries because we become wiser. And we don't even really attract, too much of the painful past anymore once it's cleared out. But then again, life isn't perfect, and, you will run across those people, but you'll feel repelled, and you'll feel kind of repulsed and repelled, and you'll go in the other direction anyway. And that's what happens. When we have the death rebirth card, it is a gateway of transformation that is always there for us. It does have endings involved, and the Four of Pentacles has endings, reversed and upright. And the Ace of Cups, when it's upright, it's about new beginnings in love and opening the heart and new opportunities for love. But when it's reversed, there's still some fear going on. Can I open up that much? Is it safe to open up that much? Do I have healthy enough boundaries? Well, when it's reversed, no. There's work to do. There's work to do. And it's actually not even totally safe to open your heart because you're still in some survival issue that needs to be worked through. And there's nothing in the world wrong with that. Nothing at all. So back to the death and rebirth card here. It's just really important to remember that this is a card of transitions and new starts. It's big change, and it's a brand new beginning. Like I often say, every time I've had to move house, I would get this card first. Okay, it's going to be like that. Yeah, it's true. But it is. It's hard. You get through it. It's a big transition, and then you have a whole new life. It's just the way it is. And this can be true, when you give birth to a child, adopt a child, any big changes, get married, start a new job, any big change in your life is what this card is all about. So something is, well, when it's a new job, it's probably less intense than this, unless you unless you moved house and, took a new job in a new place, or you got a new job and you had to find a new house. Then definitely this card would be there. But this card can also be about what we're all going through, with so many deaths on the planet with a virus. There's that possibility, and that could be leaving some of us feeling like, oh no, what do we do? Especially if your resources were tied to the person that you lost, then it can be really hard to open yourself up and trust yourself to create a new financial reality for yourself. But it absolutely, most certainly can be done. But I want to talk a little bit about healthy boundaries and giving our power away. Okay, so if we have someone in our life who has still been, let's imagine that no one has died. And this has been a painful relationship that just ended. And you did have some power struggles in the relationship before it ended. When the Four of Pentacles is reversed, we just have to remember some of the just traditional keywords has to do with letting go of the past and accepting this whole new reality, and especially when it's followed by the death card. But then again, this is the theme, so it's acceptance that life is all about change and life moves on. No matter what, life keeps moving on. It's really important, of course, to grieve the past, but I don't have any cards here for grieving. This looks like we're beyond that stage, honestly. This also can be a card when it's reversed of generosity, because of course straight up, you're holding on to your purse strings and you're being very careful. Now when it's reversed, it can be more generous. That can definitely be the case. But you have to be really careful with the people that you share your generosity with, because not all are going to be trustworthy that way. So if you're dealing with anyone, with addictions, and they haven't shown their trustworthiness, they haven't yet proved their trustworthiness, maybe they're still addicted and they haven't gotten through all of the rehab processes that are necessary, then this card can come in to remind us that, oops, hold on, trust your heart when it's closing down. If you've done a lot of work to open your heart, and you've definitely done a lot of work to have healthy boundaries, and you've passed through this rebirthing gateway more than once, I mean, because it keeps, of course, it's a part of life. Every winter we have a death and a rebirth. It just, you can look at nature. And thank goodness for the spring that's like, wow, look, those plants came back. Look at the trees. Oh my goodness, right? But when we've done all that work, it's really important to trust your heart, because your heart will tell you the truth. Your heart will always tell you the truth. So if somebody is still not trustworthy and your heart's shutting down, then you definitely need to be very careful about being, overly generous, if it's not warranted. But anyway, the Four of Pentacles, of course, reversed or upright, is all about, our security and our possessions. We have to be careful to protect ourselves, but watch out for materialism, right? Because, it's, he who dies with the most toys does not win. That's a ridiculous thing to even think. That could be a form of winning, because you don't take anything with you. You know what I mean? It's like for somebody to, it's like the old pharaohs where they put everything in the tombs with them, including their whole entourage, and they died with them. That's just ridiculous, unbelievably ridiculous. So, but in our modern day life, when this card comes in reversed, sometimes there can be a little bit of a financial loss, and that would come through. We would have a rebirthing process around that. And the important thing is just to keep opening your heart again and again and again, because that's your creative center. Remember, it's tied to your second chakra, and it's tied to your sixth chakra of, intuition up here. If you look at it as like the body, just imagine your creativity centers are the second, fourth, and the sixth. And it happens, you can get the wonderful idea up here, and then you drop it into your heart, and you're like, oh, that feels good. And then you have to do the work to, incarnate it, to give birth to it, to bring it in. And then sometimes it happens that you're following your passion, and it comes from your heart first, and then you open up to your guides, and you ask for more help, like, help me bring this in, and then you give birth to it. But it always goes through the body. So, back to healthy boundaries and not giving your power away. Well, when you have really strong boundaries, what that looks like is that you don't just willy-nilly go out into the world and ask everybody for all their opinions. Of course you do your research. You're an independent thinker. But if somebody tells you, oh, that's not a good idea, you don't take that in if it doesn't feel right. You drop it into your heart. So because this came through reversed, I think in the past, some of you have been generous with your ideas and your time and your sharing, and then you've been betrayed, or it hasn't worked out, or it didn't feel right. So to bring these all back straight up, and with the full force of the beauty of the cards, the key really is to have healthy, strong boundaries. You can only do that by opening your heart to yourself. And then it does create a rebirthing constantly. I mean, it can be kind of every day where you're letting go of some ego attachment of needing outside approval, needing other people to say, oh yeah, okay, well that looks good, do it that way, or just basically any outside approval. I really don't know any other way to say it. When the Four of Pentacles is working correctly, you have those healthy boundaries because you know what you really want and you keep following your heart every day. And then from there, you do have that inner security and you do have, control over your life. You do have your own inner authority, which would come through more if I had the Hermit and maybe even the Hierophant, but especially the Hermit card. That's the gateway that helps. The number 9 card, preceding the Death Rebirth, of course. That's the card that really brings in the getting in touch with your inner authority. But it takes a lot of meditation. It takes a lot of like tracking and connecting the dots as to what may have gone wrong in the past and what you want, how you got to where you are now. That's a hermit gateway. You have to go within to get those answers. But you can also use all your relationships and all your life as the mirror of the past to see like where decisions changed the trajectory of your life and where you want to go now. So you can always keep bringing your power back into yourself. You can continue to move forward in a very empowered way if you're always checking in with yourself and go, is this where I really want to invest my time? Because all the pentacles are very, they're time-oriented cards. It's everything that has to do with physical manifestation. So of course, time, body, money, all the energy that it takes to maintain our human, vessels and human lives. But again, the key here, that you're going to have rebirths over and over. Try to say TH and V at the same time. It just doesn't work. You will have those rebirthing experiences over and over by keeping your heart open. And then again, shoring up your strength and your boundaries. That also, when we're in the realm of Pentacles, it slows things down, slows down time. So the important thing to remember there is that if somebody is wanting something from you and it doesn't feel right, and you've been maybe over generous in the past, give yourself the boundary of time before you respond. You can always say, I can't make a decision right now. I have to think about this. Or, I want to take my time with this. You say whatever you want, whatever's right for you, but give yourself the time before you respond. And that will be another way you can bring your power back to yourself. So I think that's all I have for today with this. And at some point I will do a whole video just on power issues, power struggles, and I'll pull out all the cards that I see that could relate to it the most. So, okay. But meanwhile, you guys, it's Thanksgiving week, so I'm so grateful for you. And I send lots of love and blessings to your homes. Okay, thanks you guys. Bye.